Alright, well, after yet another stint of me being a lazy, procrastinating hiatus kind of guy, I've made some baby steps. And this is going to be the item populator. So what I did, I took two rooms. This will be the armory, and you can see how the guns. There's some of the guns are on the pegs, some of the guns are off the pegs. And then we go into the other room, and it's either going to be the armory or the barracks. And this is the armory, and you'll notice that the guns are different. But then when you go back to the other room, it's still the same population. Now I can't, I've yet to interact with these yet. I just finished doing this, so once I get back from work, I'll probably work on the interactivity of them. But I also wanted to not only do the armory and an item populator. Oh heck, this is a tiny ship. There's also that I don't know if I talked about that last update, but I took away the size of the ship you choose and just randomize how big it is. But this is a bigger one, so we can test a little bit better. So yeah, I wanted to do an item population thing in a room, but I also wanted to do it in two rooms so you could see variations. Okay, so here's the barracks. You'll notice that some of the beds have blankets on them and some don't. But also these drawers actually have drawer sprites over them to represent an object. In fact, it looks like something's off center right here. You can see that there's a weird gap right there, so I'll have to go back in and fix that part. But it's the whole point is you're going to be able to interact with these and search the drawers and get items out of the drawers, which will be just random stuff. I mean, you can take the blankets and just use it for that. As of right now, the item count is only up to 12. I wanted a decent number to actually kind of see a significant difference in rooms. But yeah, see, this one has all the blankets and then probably some of the drawers. But that's why you can't see which drawers which. Although, let's go back in. Because yeah, that's not offset anymore. So it's either the object's there or it's not there. I'm not sure, but it doesn't matter. The point is, it's populating items, and then we'll start interacting with the items. So baby steps. We're taking some baby steps because it's always rough to get back into this. And then again, it's the only reason you're seeing nothing but armories and barracks is because those are the only ones I populated. So it's I'll start populating more once I realize, once I figure out how to interact with those objects in different ways. And by that I mean, so you have the blanket, so it's simple to just take the blanket. So you click it, take it, it's gone. Items in your inventory, it's fine. Simple function. But with the drawers, I mean, you're not going to be taking a drawer with you, and it's going to be different objects in those drawers. So it's what am I trying to say? So it's going to be a different style of whether or not you can. Yeah, and look, there's a gap right there too. But it'll be a different style of acquiring something. Instead of it just being a set item, it'll be random items. So I'll either make two functions, one where you simply interact with an object and it gets you that item, such as a rifle on the wall in the armory. And then the other function can be used to randomize stuff, so that's probably the route I'm going to go. I usually get bogged down with the code and try my best not to make it as complicated as possible, because I have a tendency to do that. In fact, this item population thing required to make a big list of multiple things for each item in each room on each side of the hallway. So it's a big list of stuff that could probably be crunched down into a simpler line of code. But I'm like, this works. It's fine. It's easy to manage. Sometimes I'm just gonna have to make big old repetitive lists of things before I understand better programming, I guess. And so yeah, I'll have a just kind of an object grab function and then a lottery object grab function in which it will randomize depending on what is involved, and it'll just be I work on a list of inventory items and probably try to keep them grouped in thematic stuff. So like in a drawer you can get shirts or toys if it's a kid, or like maybe even like a secret handgun. And I might even do like multiple objects in different clusters, just so when it does the lottery thing, it'll find that group. It won't be like, the handgun will be in weapons, but I mean somebody might hide a handgun or a weapon of some kind in a drawer in their bedroom. So that might also be an option. So it's just like per room, I'm going to say these are the objects that you can lottery, like just cluster them. And I'll probably do something like that with each room. I know that the armory, so let's see if we can get back to an armory without having to wander. But with the armory, so they're all in these walls, they're all wired up, and then the interactive pad is over here. Well, what this does is it's going to be kind of another item populator, but if it's turned on, then the laser grid's going to be up, and all these are going to be protected by lasers. You're not going to be able to get to them, so you actually have to interact with this. Maybe go to like a panel and do like a mini game of some sort of puzzle solving mini game. If I want to do that, I don't know. Or just what I'll probably do is just have a computing skill, kind of an RPG thing, and depending on how good your skill is, it's going to depend on the success of cracking the code. And if you do crack it, then boom, the lasers turn off and you get to take all the guns and sell them for a bunch of money. If you fail, then the computer locks you out and you can't get back in. So that'll be another thing. That's like I'll have the item population, and then like interactive hotspot population, like different things you can interact with. And even then, it's I had this one idea to since they're ships that have been out in space for a while and probably in disarray, I was going to like destroy some wires. But now that I'm actually thinking about it, it would be even more interesting is if instead of them all being derelict ships, because the storyline has changed, so it's going to be he's going to be captured by criminals and told to scavenge these ships. But it could be an even better idea to have these ships active, because that would kind of save me on the technology and the fact that the weird storyline of these being out in space for 30 years and they're just still there and nobody's doing anything about it. It always kind of made me a little like, it's okay, but it could be better. So it would be better if these were active ships, and they would actually be civilians. So instead of just like other raiders invading these ships, or like aliens in the xenomorphs up in the vent, or like to attack you and stuff like that, you could actually find some people who are like, you can find people who are unarmed and don't want you to kill them, and you may actually have like a diplomacy feature where like, oh, we can let them go or let them stay. It's a morality thing. Do you want your character to be evil or not? Because it really, in the end, it's just a video game, so it doesn't actually matter. And then, but at the same time, you can also have, like again, weapons in the drawers of the barracks. The reason it's there because maybe they're going to get raided by pirates and they got to defend themselves. So maybe the dad of the place is going to show up and he's going to have a high-powered rifle with him and just try to shoot you dead. So you got to defend yourself in that way. And then other times it could be some of the ships will be derelict and just floating in space, and nobody's come across it yet until the scanners pick it up. And then you go in there, and then everybody who's in the ship is a zombie or something, And it's and then another thing is, if that were the case, then for every like barrack, for everything that has a thing, and then also probably I could get rid of this feature where it's quote-unquote locked. Originally that was going to be because the ships have been derelict and they're modular ships with attachment rooms, so some of the rooms detach, so you're not going to be able to open them or else you get sucked into the vacuum of space. But I can get rid of that now and just have kind of have a count of things, because that'll keep me from having to worry about whether or not they're there's like a life support system. There's always going to be a life support system unless it's derelict. Maybe if we we do a zombie thing in some of the ships, then it's like, yeah, the life support system went off. Everybody in there's a zombie, so they don't need to breathe. And it's like this kind of thing. Like, let's say the interactions will be different depending on what rooms there are and stuff. So let's say there's a dude in here, and he does a little like storyline where he's unlocking the thing, grabbing a rifle, and ready to fire it at you, or something like that. You know, maybe he already has a rifle and he's locking it up. But that also that'll be useful for stuff like that because you can populate it a little bit better. You know, it'll make it'll make a lot of grab stuff a little bit better. But that the downside to that is I was going to have like pipes and stuff broken, which I guess again with the derelict thing, maybe I'll figure it out. But it's, yeah, that could be a new thing. You're captured by pirates, so they will make you work with them and make you do the pirating because you're in debt to them. And probably the Pirate King is just like, listen, either you're going to get us the stuff or you're going to die in the process. Because I figure these guys are just essentially a captive boarding party that has to steal a bunch of stuff so he can get rid of his debt, and you bring your the buddies you find along the way. And then you can even, like with the brig's going to have random character calls, so that'll probably be another function. But it'll go in there, and then depending on which characters have been discovered, and basically which characters have been discovered, it depends on that. And there's either going to be somebody in there, or it's going to be empty, or it's going to have a person there that's randomized one of the main characters. And you can bring them back, and they'll be in jail with you, because they're like, well, you know, we're pirates, so we're holding him hostage as well. And or you could just ditch him. You could just say, hey, no, we're leaving you. We don't need you. And then you just don't take that character, because it's... I want to say the characters, they offer support in battle. Some of them are better at stuff, like, you know, you're going to find a mechanic who can repair broken things, or hack into a system if he's an engineer or something like that. And then you're going to find like the soldier, the retired veteran soldier. They're all going to be in prison now, and so you'll always find them in the brig. They're also criminals of some kind. They all did something bad. So yeah, that'll be good for that'll be a good idea for the storyline at least, and then that'll help me figure out the items I want to populate it with. Because you can also like just take wires from stuff if you need wires. Because you're eventually, once you get back to the hub world, which is the prison, you're going to be able to start like secretly building stuff that can maybe help you escape if you want to do an escape ending, or if you just want to pay off the debt, you can do the pay it off ending, or other endings. Who knows? And then yeah, what else? And then we can have just a feature where it's like maybe the civilians can call upon the galactic government and send the military out and start fighting you, or something like that. Or maybe the military was already on, or who knows. It'll be something, and it'll be again, if I can figure out how to make like a modular dungeon to make like space stations on a planet, then that'll be cool. And it can offer different stuff. This can just be like one fraction of what's going on. These modular ships, like these are civilian ships. This is level 1. It's like take stuff from civilians. It's like, yeah, that's what pirates do. And in this world, civilians all purchase these modular ships that are really, really useful. So it's yeah, we can just do like this. This will just be level 1, which, now that I say it out loud, is daunting, but at the same time, I just procrastinate on these so bad. I really need to stop. I need to just start working on it like every night. And hopefully I'll start doing that, but who knows. So I guess that's it for this update. It was a good talk. I broke a lot of ground on what I want to do with the storyline, at least, and Also, I got to show off the item populator, which I'm very happy with. So that'll do it for this one.